the FinCen papers, the great big giant laundry of huge, unbelievable amounts of looted trillions. The FinCen papers, and how all the big major banks in the world who've been flipping daisy chains and churning those predatory subprime mortgages, financing the dirt. Yup, the dirt dealing. Just like Jim and Susan McDougal and all them little dirty sons of bitches back in the 70s and the 80s, back in the 60s. Hell, they were doing it in the 50s, even before. Flipping the dirt around, like the Clintons and the Bushes. Old BB&T Bank up there in Wilmington, Delaware, were flipping the real estate just like Charlie Keating. And they're flipping the real estate just like Lee Farkas and Andrew Farkas with Jeff Epstein. Old Jeffrey Epstein and Company and the dirty daisy chains. Boy, that puts the daisy chain in daisy chain now, doesn't it? Old Epstein and Company. And Donald Trump and all of his sexual escapades and dirt deals. You see, old Donald Trump's famous for what? Well, he's got a real estate empire, which means he deals in dirt. You can't build a skyscraper unless you dig a hole in the ground in the dirt. Right, Donald Trump? Tell him, Don Trump, about dirt dealing and daisy chains, flipping and churning, and laundering all that money. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, come on, let's get down to it with Bill Black and all the other, celebrities of this docuseries called The Con. Eric Vaughn, Patrick S. Lovell, and, what's his name there? Adam Bromsfeld, or how do you say, Bromsman. There you go, Adam Bromsman. The dirt. The savings and loan scandal, the big banking debacle. It was a banking debacle. Banking debacle there, old Bill Black. Professor Bill Black, let's talk about dirt dealing with Catherine Austin Fitts. And she's got a little friend of hers that worked for the Harris County District Attorney's Office there in Houston, Texas. Linda Miner, I think her name was. Or Linda Thompson, something like that. She, big friend of Show Me the Money, Catherine Austin Fitts. And I don't know, there was this attorney. He was a senior in-house lawyer for FDIC there in Houston named Jim Wright. He was the counsel that settled my case with the FDIC, anyways, over the Western Banks fiascos of dirt dealing. Now, Bill Black's famous for this segment of The Con. It's called What Did Schwecker Face? Old Christopher Schwecker, Deputy Director of the FBI. I got a question for Mr. Deputy Director of FBI. How much all this mortgage swindling and all this foreclosing and stealing people's properties, Mr. Schwecker, how much of it involved real estate and dirt? Lots of dirt here, Mr. Schwecker. That's what you face. Lots and lots of dirt. All through The Con, there's this underlying tone of retaliation against people who did their jobs. This tone of people that were retaliated against and punished for confronting the corruption in the law enforcement community, the regulators, as old Bill Black like call them. The regulators that actually did their job got punished. Right, Michael Winston? And the list of Bowen, Richard Bowen, Jeff Thigpen, John O'Brien, Matt Wiedner, Oliver, Max Garner, Mark Stopa. Everybody that did their job got Hillary Clintoned Even Donald Trump's complaining that Hillary Clinton and the FBI cooked up a smear campaign. They smeared him, didn't they? Donald Trump got smeared by the FBI, by Mueller and Comey. Oh, gee, golly whiz, guess who was running FBI and the Department of Justice during these dirt dealing daisy chaining days? Louis Freeh, Alberto Gonzales, and John Ashcroft, Loretta Lynch, Eric Holder. Good old Eric Holder. Man, I'll tell you what. There's somebody who did not do his job. Old Eric Holder and Barack Obama. A $25 billion reserve note national mortgage settlement. And ladies and gentlemen, everything that I'm talking about here is directly connected to real estate scheming and real estate scamming. RICO Realty and the predatory foreclosures. There you go. There's a new book for you, Bill Black. RICO Realty and the predatory foreclosures. Churning all that dirty money. Wow. What a story. Eric Vaughn. Come on, Eric Vaughn. Churning the dirt. Churning the dirty money. And the real estate, RICO Realty saga, the never-ending story. Eric Vaughn, there you go. There'd be a good title for it. You and Patrick S. Lovell can write a, docu-series for the Con called The Never-Ending Story of how they use real estate, the dirt dealing. Because Patrick S. Lovell and Mr. Vaughn and all the experts that appear in the Con, none of this happens without the dirt deals. None of it happens without the Whitewaters and without the Castle Grandes and without the Campobello Island. Let's not forget old Campobello Island. And here's the big one, Bill Clinton, Mr. Clinton. The Arkansas Industrial Development Bank. What'd you do again with the Arkansas Industrial Development Bank? Weren't you using state funds and federal grant monies and involved in dirt development there, old flipping and daisy chaining with the industrial parks, the business parks. That's all dirt dealing too. And the skyscrapers and the condominiums and the townhouses and the apartments over at HUD, the big apartment developers, all this sleazy ass banking, all this sleazy ass looting and laundering of trillions. The common nexus of nuclear fact in this RICO story is the real estate. And everybody knows that the old Swamp Fox, he nailed the real estate in the 80s. The real estate swindling, the dirt dealing, the dirt flipping, the dirt churning, the dirty, dirty, dirty loans that are at the very base, the foundation of the predatory mortgages. You can't do an Addy Polk and steal anybody's home or anybody's apartment or anybody's business without being involved in the churning and the flipping and the daisy chaining of the dirt. No dirt, you ain't got no place to build a house for Addy Polk to get repossessed. How about that, Adam Bromsman? I guess that's how you say your name. You can't do any of it. None of it works without the real estate. Now, what did Schwecker face? What kind of retaliation? Well, let's talk about Guy Williams and Rick Williams and Tom Williams. They're in Montgomery County, Texas. You remember Guy Williams, the sheriff. Tom Williams, the U.S. Customs drug interdiction agent. And then, of course, you had Rick Williams. He was the Secret Service agent that was on the Bush detail. Old George H. Bush. Big Poppy, Big H. Yeah, old Rick Williams. He's Director of Security for ConocoPhillips Oil in the Woodlands, Texas. There were Nelda Luce Radabow Blair, old Nelda Luce Radabow Blair, the former county attorney for Montgomery County, Texas, runs the Woodlands, the old George Mitchell's operation there, George Mitchell. Now let's get back to all these funny real estate developments all over the United States. Charlie Keating had a bunch of them on his books there at Lincoln Savings and Loan when it collapsed, and Neil Bush had them on the books up there at Silverado, and BB&T Bank in Wilmington, Delaware, the Bush clan, the old Bush Mafia there in Delaware, they had a bunch of bogus Phantom Ghost, Red Flag, Wildcat, Outlaw, Illegal. Wow, these land developments, the old dirt deals. That's what I'm famous for, ladies and gentlemen, is back in the 80s I exposed all the land deals. The real estate scheming and scamming all over America, and then hell, who could have figured it, but it's all over the world. It's everywhere. And Jamie Dimon there of J.P. Morgan Chase, Deutsche Bank, Credit Suisse, Taylor Bean and Whitaker, Superior Bank, Penny Pritzker, the Pritzker's banks up there in Chicago, Countrywide, WAMU, Wells Fargo, oh my God almighty, Nation Star, all the big mortgage swindles that you can think of, every single one that you can possibly think of, all of them, directly connected to dirt dealing. Daisy chains and flipping. Professor William Black. Let's talk about the dirt deals with Catherine Austin Fitz, and I'm pretty sure her name's Linda Thompson or something like that. She was an assistant Harris County, Harris County District Attorney or County Attorney there in Houston, Texas. She's the quintessential joust. She writes a lot about dirty land deals and Superior Homes and all these other well-connected real estate development types that are connected to Lloyd Benson and the Magic Bullet man there. What was his name there? He was riding in the Lincoln Continental when Kennedy, and he got shot. I forget his name. It'll come to me here in a minute. The guy from the Magic Bullet. He was involved in real estate scheming and scamming on a huge scale, like Gary Morrow, the Texas Land Commissioner, Gary Morrow, Bill Clinton's campaign manager. Hell, he was flipping real estate with the Western banks. In Houston, Texas, Bill Clinton, how about that? Old Gary Morrow. John Conley, there you go, I knew it'd come to me eventually. The Magic Bullet guy there, he had a bunch of funny real estate deals too. They all did. Alberto Gonzalez from Humble. I used to drive through Humble, Texas every freaking day. I used to drive across from Interstate 45 there at Killeen and over there at, I can't even remember. It's been too long ago now. But I used to drive across FM 1960 when it was just a bulldozer track. It was a mud road from 45 over to 59. Used to have to do a trick because they were still building the San Jacinto River bridges. Yep. Dirt dealing with Swamp Fox. Imagine that. Old Swamp Fox family comes from dirt dealing, you know. My father was a dirt developer. Yeah, he was. And I spent my whole life around dirt. I built hospitals and airports, worked down at Johnson Space Center. Built a bunch of skyscrapers there in Houston, up at Greens Point, down around Hobby Airport. Woodlands, we worked in the Woodlands. We worked in Kingwood. Spent years around real estate development and the dirt dealing game in Houston, Texas. You want some witnesses? Get a hold of the chief of security for ConocoPhillips Oil. His name's Tom Williams. Or not Tom, it's Rick Williams, excuse me. I find that quite interesting. Guy Williams, Tom Williams, and Rick Williams. What are the chances of them all being related? And we can get a hold of Kathy Gordon and Peter Bruton. Let's bring old Peter Bruton, the author of The Mafia, the CIA, and George Bush. And we can get a hold of Lucy Proctor, and William Pack from the Houston Post, the former Houston Post. And we'll talk about how you rob savings and loans with real estate, Professor William Black, and ADC Ninja non-recourse loans. We're getting pretty good at this, aren't we, Professor Black? The old acquisition, development, and construction loans that were non-recourse. That people like Bill Clinton's campaign manager got millions and millions of dollars flipping real estate. They were churning and flipping real estate, Bill. Like Chris Schwecker. You know, Chris Schwecker. What were they daisy chaining Chris? Come on there, Agent Schwecker. He was a deputy director of the FBI. How many dirt deals we talking about here, Mr. Schwecker? Now, I've left a couple of emails for you at your office there, and I guess you're in Charlotte, North Carolina, or something like that. Charlotte, South Carolina, wherever your office is. I left you a couple phone messages, too. Christopher Schwecker, I want to see what you faced. Because you see, Mr. Schwecker, when I started exposing all the dirt dealing, the United States government, FBI, Department of Justice, Secret Service decided to throw me a blanket party. What did Schwecker face? Well, I can imagine it was similar to what they did to me to shut me up. Sort of like what Hillary Clinton and Robert Mueller and Jimmy Comey cooked up for a lot of people. Comey and Mueller and Louis Freeh, William Weld, William Webster, and the CIA boys, because everybody knows the CIA is involved in all this, along with the NSA and the NSC, National Security Council. They're the Oliver North and Secord from the basement of the White House. It's interesting how Secord and North were prosecuted for bank fraud. Ain't that interesting? Just like Neil Bush and old Lee Farkas, and the list just goes on from, oh God, holy smokes, man. Dirt dealing. What does Schwecker face? The con. RICO. The, what do you call it there? Patrick S. Lovell. The never-ending story. Yeah. How many trillions have they laundered now? How many SARS reports has the FinCen kept nice and secret on all these dirt deals? I'd like to see all the SARS reports on all these real estate schemes and real estate scams that FinCen's hiding. Ain't that fascinating, Christopher Schwecker, how it's all connected to the real estate. Isn't that just a fascinating common nexus of nuclear fact in the RICO? The dirt dealing, the real estate transactions, using the deed recorder's offices to run all these fake papers. I mean, DocX and LPS and all the other fake papers of Select Portfolio Services and every other ninja loan, liar's loans, the fake papers of the liar's loans. You know, that all connects to the commercial real estate development, Bill Black. Why aren't we talking about the commercial deals, Bill Black? The great big, business parks and the skyscrapers and the commercial development markets. Why don't we discuss that, Bill Black? That'd be a good place to start, really, would be to talk about, I don't know, BB&T Bank in Wilmington, Delaware, and how they swindled the stockholders and investors in BB&T. And then, of course, you got Keating and Neil Bush and Jeb Bush and all those felons that were selling real estate in Jeb Bush's Florida. Old John Ellis, old Johnny Bush there. Jebby. Come on, Jebby Bush, come on down, and let's talk about dirt dealing in Texas real estate and Florida real estate and Colorado real estate. Let's discuss Enron. Because you see, ladies and gentlemen, Enron was deeply, deeply involved in all this, along with all the big title companies. Because you see, that's kind of a common nexus of nuclear fact there all through the docuseries called The Con, are these title insurance companies and appraisers that appraised and insured all the dirt deals. Did he say dirt deals? Yeah, I think he did. Oh, Hillary Clinton should be able to explain this with Quapaw title. Bill Clinton, explain to them who Ozark Realty is. And Quapaw title. They're on the Flippin' and Yellville end of the spectrum here. Yep. Oh, Yellville and... Man, I'll tell you, flipping real estate. They were flipping real estate in Arkansas, weren't they, Bill Clinton? Flipping it there with the Arkansas Industrial Development Bank. And laundering the money. Oh, my God almighty, have they been laundering the money. So J.P. Morgan Chase, you're not just guilty of manipulating the bond and the precious metals markets. And Deutsche Bank, you're not just guilty of laundering money for dirt dealing Russian oligarchs and mobsters. Oh, the good old Deutsche Bank. And the dirt dealing of the predatory foreclosures. Because in final analysis, ladies and gentlemen, you can't do a foreclosure without being involved in the dirt dealing. Oh, and churning, rinse and repeat in the laundry, right? Just sell that foreclosed real estate over and over and over again, and you take all the money and all the profits that you're making from all of this, and you commingle it all together and you mix it up, and then you launder it again. And that's to the justices of the 6th Circuit Court of Appeals in Cincinnati, Ohio. And Robert Leon Jordan down there in Greenville, Tennessee. The real estate guy from Panama City, I guess it was Panama City, Florida. The Johnson City federal judge, Robert Leon Jordan. It is fascinating, Judge Jordan, on how all of it operates off the real estate. The dirt dealing, Judge Jordan. Ain't that fascinating? So what did old Christopher Schwecker, the deputy director of FBI, what did he face? I think Robert Mueller and James Comey got a little explaining to do with Eric Holder and Alberto Gonzalez. And we need to talk about how many millions of Americans got shafted, got absolutely screwed in all these real estate deals. Professor William Black. Now, if we're going to tell a story, the con, Adam Bromsman, Eric Vaughn, if we're going to tell a story about the con and RICO Realty, we need to tell the whole story, Mr. Vaughn. Yeah, Professor Bill Black, we need to talk about all those funny real estate deals, the Wildcat, Phantom Ghost, Red Flag, Wildcat, recreational dirt road land developments all over America. Tens of thousands of these real estate schemes and scams. Hundreds of thousands of them if you include the commercial markets. The ADC, non-recourse commercial markets, the business parks, the skyscrapers, the shopping centers, the malls, all this funny dirt dealing lending into the commercial markets. You need to include that too, Professor William Black. And on a closing note to everybody who knows me, family, friends, even my enemies, I want to remind you of something about ATF and FBI and their FLIR plane there from Waco, Texas. Yeah, the Britain Defender. The Britain Defender. Christopher Wray, FBI Director William Barr, Attorney General of the United States. The old FLIR plane. They were buzzing my home continually during the 1990s with their stinking FLIR plane. And then, of course, they tried to burn my home down in the middle of the night. About 20 minutes to 3. Early in the morning. They dumped flares all over my house. What does Schwecker face? Well, I doubt Schwecker faced what they put me through to try to discredit me and ruin me and shut me up and silence the whistleblower. Because I'm going to lay it right down for you, ladies and gentlemen. Texas is the epicenter of a massive dirt dealing, real estate, savings and loan, looting, banking fiasco. This banking fiasco and all this real estate dirt dealing, I am the original whistleblower. And if you got any problems with that summation, Professor William Black, I suggest you get a hold of Peter Bruton, William Pack, Kathy Gordon, Lucy Proctor, Guy Williams. Get a hold of good old Sheriff Guy Williams. And let's see, Judge Barb Sadler, old Alan Sadler, and Nelda Luce Radabau Blair, and we can get a hold of that big law enforcement professional there in Texas. His name is Jimmy Danced in His Underpants Dozier. And get a hold of Peter Spears. And let's see, the list goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. All the dirt dealing. All connected. All at the base. All at the foundation. All at the epicenter of all this skullduggery in the banking and the real estate and title insurance markets, the construction markets. Oh God, they ran so much money through these schemes and scams. It's absolutely staggering. And you know, I got a lot of records, and they're hidden real well. I made sure to hide plenty of records. And Judge Russell T. Lloyd, Witham versus Western Banks. Witham versus Western Banks. Witham versus FDIC. Yeah. Federal court in Houston, Texas, no less. At 515 Rusk. In the federal courts. And we can ask Judge Lynn Hughes about all that. And Lee... Oh, I can't remember her son. It'll come to me here in a second. Federal Judge Lee Rosenthal. There we go. Lee Rosenthal. The lawyer from Jimmy Baker III's law firm, Baker and Botts. Isn't that an interesting conflict of interest, Judge Lee Rosenthal? You were running with Jimmy Baker III and let's see, Joanna Herring King and Bush and running that whole Charlie Wilson's War bunch. Right there out of the Houstonian estates, Judge Lee Rosenthal. Lee Rosenthal, ain't that a fascinating connection? Baker and Botts. You didn't think I'd figure that out, did you, Judge Rosenthal? Folks, I got so many records that'll blow your mind, and guess what? It's all connected to that dirt dealing, Bill Black. Every damn last bit of it's connected to the daisy chains of Jeffrey Epstein to Lee and Andrew Farkas. And that whole bunch over there at Lincoln Savings and Loan and Silverado and Taylor Bean and Whitaker and Select Portfolio Services and Credit Suisse. And the story, it's a never-ending story. Eric Vaughn. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll leave it right there, and as always, you can bet your sweet ass we're coming back.